You know, every January, millions of really smart, motivated people make the same quiet mistake. And it completely torpedoes their year before it even gets started. And it's not about being lazy, it's not a lack of discipline, it's something much simpler and, thankfully, much more fixable. So let's dive into the science-backed system for designing your absolute best year ever.
And right there, that's the big idea for this entire explainer. I absolutely love this quote from Daniel Pink because it just nails it. Success is about design, not just desire. The people who are really crushing it aren't just sitting around waiting for some magical bolt of motivation to strike. No way. They build a system, a structure that makes doing the work almost second nature.
So, how do we actually build this thing? Well, we're going to walk through a proven four-act framework. We'll start by building a solid foundation. Then we'll design our systems. After that, we'll fuel our motivation. And finally, we'll connect and renew. Think of this as your personal blueprint for a year you're going to look back on and say, wow, that's when everything changed.
Okay, let's jump right into Act 1, building that solid foundation. I mean, you wouldn't build a house on shaky ground, right? The same thing goes for your year. The key here is to get crystal clear, and we're going to do that by looking both backward into our past and forward into our future.
First up is something called the regret review. Now, I know, this might sound a little heavy, but trust me, it is so powerful. You just pick your single biggest regret from the last year, the one that really sticks with you. Then you figure out the lesson in it and make a concrete plan for this month to make sure it doesn't happen again. And here's the most important part. You physically crumple up the piece of paper with the regret and throw it away. But you keep the lesson. See, regret isn't a sign of weakness, it's instruction.
All right, now let's do a little time travel into the future with a technique called a pre-mortem. I want you to imagine it's the end of this year, and that huge goal you set for yourself. Maybe it was writing a book or getting that promotion. It just didn't happen. What went wrong? Did you get sidetracked? Did you not ask for help? By imagining these potential failures now, you can actually build a plan to make sure they never happen.
Okay, let's move on to Act 2. Our foundation is solid. Now it's time to build the actual structure on top of it, a set of systems that don't box you in, but actually set you free to do your absolute best work.
Get this, the first system is all about protecting your first hour. A study from the University of London found that just jumping straight into your email and notifications in the morning can temporarily drop your cognitive performance by the equivalent of 10 IQ points. Seriously, think about that. Your first hour of the day sets the trajectory for everything that follows, so use it for your most important work, not reacting to everyone else's agenda.
Now, for the other 23 hours of the day, there's the 2-minute rule. This comes from the productivity guru David Allen, and it's just beautifully simple. If a task pops up that you can do in less than 2 minutes, just do it. Do it right then. This isn't about being a productivity robot. It's about stopping those little tiny tasks from piling up and creating this mental fog that just slows everything else down.
Man, this slide really hits home, doesn't it? How many of us just slam our laptop shut on Friday, but our brain is still buzzing with work stuff all weekend? Cal Newport's shutdown ritual is the perfect fix. All you do is take 5 minutes at the end of the week to get a clear plan for Monday. This gives your brain what psychologists call cognitive closure. It's like giving your brain official permission to clock out and actually recharge.
All right, you've got your foundation, you've got your systems, but let's be real. That burst of motivation you feel in January, it's not going to last forever. That's where Act 3 comes in. This is all about fueling your motivation. It's like upgrading your inner operating system so you can keep going for the long haul.
This is so cool. Researchers have actually found that we learn fastest when we're succeeding about 85% of the time. Think about it. If you're getting everything right, it's too easy, you're not growing. If you're failing all the time, it's too hard and you'll just get discouraged. That sweet spot for growth, that 85% zone, is right where you're being stretched but not snapped. That's the edge you want to live on.
And look, living on that 85% edge, it can feel tough. It's supposed to feel a little awkward, a little uncomfortable. But here's the mental trick. You have to reframe that feeling. The next time you're struggling with something, I want you to just tell yourself this. This isn't failure. This is what learning feels like. That feeling of discomfort, that's not a stop sign. That is the feeling of you getting better.
And to keep that engine running, you have to track your small wins. Research from Harvard's Teresa Amable discovered that the single biggest motivator, day in and day out, is making progress in meaningful work. So at the end of each day, just take 60 seconds and jot down a few small steps you took. It can be as tiny as sent the email I was avoiding. This simple habit creates this incredible progress loop that builds unstoppable momentum.
And that brings us to our final act, which is maybe the most overlooked of them all. Because here's the truth.
Nobody sustains high performance by themselves. Act 4 is all about connection and renewal. It's about the external forces that strengthen you from the inside out.
You have to be incredibly intentional about who you spend your time with. Don't just let your circle happen by default. Curate it. Make sure you have these 3 key people in your life. You need the challenger, the person who loves you enough to tell you the hard truth. You need the cheerleader, the one who believes in you even when you doubt yourself. And you need the coach, someone who's already a few steps ahead and can give you a map. That's your personal board of directors.
We all have to-do lists, but have you ever made a to-don't list? Our brains are just naturally wired to solve problems by adding more stuff. But honestly, sometimes the most powerful move you can make is subtraction. So take a hard look at your calendar. What's one reoccurring meeting, one commitment that's just draining your soul without adding real value? Cut it. Seriously, you will be amazed at how much focus and energy you get back.
So, we've walked through the 4 essential acts to designing your best year ever. Now, I want to leave you with one final, super simple practice that's going to tie all of this together beautifully.
Here it is, a simple challenge. Send 26 thank you notes this year. That's it. It's just one every 2 weeks. The science on this is incredible. Expressing gratitude has been shown to create a lasting boost in happiness, lower stress, and deepen our connections with other people. It's such a simple act, but it pays these huge dividends for you and for the people you appreciate.
Ultimately, everything we've talked about really just boils down to this one single idea. A better year isn't something that just happens to you. It's not something you find or wait for. It's something you build, something you create, something you design. So the only real question left is, what will you design?